Hey view riders, and thanks for joining me for another video. Today I'm doing a little bit of a cheat. I'm going to give you my quick impressions on the Triumph Daytona 660. The reason I can't bring you a video on that bike is that I've just been on a group test ride at Triumph HQ in Hinckley, and yeah, you're not allowed to film, no GoPros. One of the most regimented test rides I have ever been on. So many bloody rules that it kind of ruins the ride. But anyway, enough of that. And yeah, let me give you my 5-minute impressions of that bike once I can get past this junction. Don't think that helmet's legal. So yeah, the Triumph Daytona 660. A lot of has been made of that bike. Is it deserving of the name? Should Triumph be using that name on that bike? And I mean, I would say that's Triumph's own decision. That's for no one else to make a decision for them. The reality is, it's not a pure sports bike. It's if you're expecting a Daytona 765 type bike, then you're going to be sorely disappointed. It is a sports style bike for beginners more than anything. I don't mean that in a bad way, by the way. It's just not quite a 675. So in terms of the ride, let's say comfort wise, it feels really good. There wasn't too much pressure on my wrists. It's sporty, but perfectly acceptable. You could do a fair few miles without too much discomfort. The seat felt quite nice, although I did find myself going forward constantly, and also I didn't like the shape of the tank on my knees. I found it a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know why. I didn't really have time to properly work out why, but I just didn't find where my knees were sitting was comfortable. Something was digging in. The riding triangle is pretty much bang on for the type of bike it is, really. Had no issues with that. Again, when you've got pressure on your wrists, so if you do have problems with pain in your wrists, then yeah, it is gonna grate you, but it's not that bad. Not as bad as a fully fledged sports bike. Engine wise, you got that lovely 660 cylinder triple, derived from the Trident 660. This one's pumping out, I think it's 94, 95 horsepower, brake horsepower, and yeah, the engine's a star of the show. It's peachy, punchy, and every other adjective you can think of. What are you braking for? A tank there. Just make sure it's still recording. yeah, so the engine is absolutely lovely. It's a great proven unit, 10,000 mile service intervals as well, so it should be cheap to run. And same with the gearbox, lovely and smooth, no dramas about it. Could do with a quick shifter, but apart from that, no complaints whatsoever. As per usual with Triumph, very, very sweet gearbox. The engine itself never felt lacking when I was riding. Obviously I was riding in a group, so I couldn't really go crazy, but well, the one time I did try and give it a few beans while holding it back, I got told off. Again, regimented bloody ride out, but there you go. So yeah, there's plenty of power there to have fun. Don't be worried about that. Handling wise, I think that's where this bike falls down a little bit for me. Is I think I did the handling. It felt quite slow going round bends, turning in. The front forks show big piston forks, but non-adjustable, and the rear's adjustable for preloads. I don't know if maybe you could do something with the rear shock. But yeah, I don't know, just it felt flat handling wise. Obviously this was only like a 45-minute test ride with a load of other riders, so you couldn't really let it off the leash. But yeah, I don't know, just it was lacking some oomph in the handling department, I'm afraid. And the suspension is very, very soft. I noticed when I was braking hard, the front end dive was quite pronounced. Brakes were pretty good, by the way, no complaints in that respect. But yeah, I found there's quite a bit of dive in the forks, so which makes me point the finger to the suspension for the handling. You know, I mean, it's not an expensive bike. I think it's about £8,600 or something like that, brand new at the moment. So if you could budget another £1.5 for some suspension upgrades, you might have a decent handling bike. But then you're getting into more expensive bike territory, aren't you? But then again, it still wouldn't be too badly priced, wouldn't it? Then don't forget you'd have to add a quick shifter, which on a sporty type bike, you know, it should be standard really. So yeah, suspension / handling is what lets the bike down. Maybe somewhere down the line they'll bring out an R version with better suspension, and that would make it a bit more worthy of the Daytona name. I'm not going to slate on Triumph for calling it Daytona like some people do. It's their name, they own it, they can do what they want. But yeah, make an R version, and I think it'd be a bit more worthy, I think. What else can we say about it? Looks wise, I think it looks absolutely gorgeous, personally. Again, looks are subjective, but yeah, they've nailed it. I think there's the right amount of nods to the previous Daytonas, and build quality from my little walk around I did is nothing to fault really, for the price of the bike anyway. It's yeah, so how does it compare, let's say, to the Suzuki GSX-8R, which I test rode not long ago and absolutely loved. But I have to say, I am a big Triumph fan, but in this case I'm afraid that the Suzuki takes it. You know, in terms of the engine, the Triumph probably edges it, but in every other respect I think, maybe apart from looks, the GSX-8R takes it. It's just felt a bit more solid handling, suspension didn't feel as bouncy, and it's just as comfortable. So yeah, it pains me to say it as a Triumph fan, but I'd probably go for the Suzuki over the Triumph. The one redeeming feature the Triumph has is its engine and that 10k service intervals. I don't know what the Suzukis are, but I'm guessing it's going to be about the 6-7.5k mark. If it's 10k, then yeah, sorry, I apologise, then yeah, it's equal. So yeah, I mean, if you're, don't get me wrong, if you're after a sporty style bike but not too bothered about the performance and handling, then yeah, the Triumph will be a good option. And whether you decide to take that over the Suzuki GSX-8R as an example, it's going to be down to personal preference. But yeah, the Suzuki definitely handles that a little bit better, and that's one thing to bear in mind. That's about it really. I can't really tell you anything else because, as I said, I wasn't allowed to bloody film anything. So yeah, on that note, it's still a good bike, don't get me wrong, but the Triumph Daytona 660 is probably not a bike I would personally consider myself. Yeah, on that bombshell, thanks for riding with me, V Riders. See you on the next one.